Hi everyone, and welcome to my November budget recap. When I started making these again last month, and I told you guys I was going to try and stick to it every month, I really did mean it. So here I am, second month in a row now with my budgeting recap for the month. And I was thinking about it yesterday, and honestly, these budgeting videos are kind of cool because recapping my spending for the month is also just a recap of how I spent my life. So it's kind of a fun way to look back on all that happened in the previous month. And November was a busy one, so I am excited to go through and recap it for you all. I am looking off to the side to my laptop screen where I have up my budget, and one of my big purchases for the month was a new laptop. I'll talk more about this purchase when I get to that section and how I funded it. But this is long overdue. My old laptop has been riding the struggle bus for a while now, but I'll chat more about it in a little bit. But without further ado, I am going to jump into my budget recap for the month. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my income for the month. So my income from my 9-to-5 job was pretty normal, same standard paycheck, still working my same job. The big thing on income that happened this month was the money that I made from pet sitting. I made honestly an insane amount of money from pet sitting this month, and I'll kind of talk more about why that is. But in the month of November alone, I made more money pet sitting than I have in the previous 9 months of pet sitting in 2023. So I basically just doubled my pet sitting number for the year this 1 month alone. I feel comfortable sharing this number, so I'm just going to share it with you all. I made $1,375 pet sitting this month. From the past 9 months out of the year, I made $1,300 total. So this year I hadn't done a ton of pet sitting. I was doing a lot more last year, but I was just kind of pet sitting for my usual clients. What happened this month that I ended up making a lot more money is that some of my clients that I've had for a while now referred me to their friends, and that gave me more money because I was pet sitting more often this month. I pet sit 3 weekends in a row, 3 long weekends in a row. And these were new clients, and I also have a higher rate for new clients because there's more demand for my time now. And these clients also had puppies, and if you know anything about puppies, you know they are a lot of work. So that also contributed to the higher rate, and they were a lot of work, so they were very nice and tipped me well. So yeah, that was 3 long weekends of pet sitting that all totaled up to that $1,300 amount. And what I do with my pet sitting money is I am still adding it to my horse savings fund, so all that money just went straight there. So now jumping to my savings and investments for the month. My investments were the same as they have been for the past few months. My investment was my 401k taken out of my paycheck at work, and I do contribute to a Roth 401k, so I do pay taxes on the money that goes into my 401k, but that just means I'm going to get to pull it out in retirement tax-free, which is very exciting. I actually did have to scale back my 401 contributions a little bit this month because I am going to max out my 401k for the year, so I was kind of scaling the amount I contributed back so that it would even out at the end. But I just want to take a moment to say how exciting that is that I just said I'm going to max out my 401k for the year, because at the beginning of this year, I did not think it was possible. My goal was to contribute as much as I could to my 401k for the year, but I did not think I was going to get to max it out. So it's very exciting to be sitting here going into December saying that I will max my 401k, my first full working year in the corporate world. I know that's a super privileged thing to be able to say, but yeah, I'm just excited about that. So because I scaled back the amount that I contributed to my 401k starting this month, what did I do with that money that I kind of reduced from going into my 401k? What I did with that is I put it in a long-term saving fund. So right now I'm just holding it in my high yield savings account. And what I'm going to do with that money now that it's the end of the year, normally I would maybe just go ahead and put it in my brokerage account because I don't want to hold on to cash for too long if it is money that I meant for investments. But because it's the end of this calendar year and we're about to be in 2024, I'm just going to hold that money over for the next month, and then I'm going to use it going into January 2024 to begin kind of front load some of my contributions to my Roth IRA for next year. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about my expenses for the month. This is usually the most interesting part because I feel like this is where all my money is going. So the first thing I'll talk about is my laptop that I was showing you guys earlier. So paying for the laptop didn't come from this month's paycheck at all. That all came from a sinking fund. So the story with the laptop, let me just paint the picture for you. I got my first laptop ever when I was 15. Yeah, the Christmas I was 15. I was a sophomore in high school. I got my first laptop ever, and I thought, that laptop would lead me to college and I'd probably get a new one then. So going into college, I was fortunate. I won some scholarship money for technology, and I knew I was going to need a new laptop at some point in college. So I just kind of set that money aside in a savings account, and I was like, I'm going to use this to buy a laptop. And I almost did freshman year, but I was going on a study abroad trip and I didn't want to buy the new laptop before I went on the trip because I didn't want something to happen to the new laptop on the trip, and I knew I would just take my old one instead. So because of that reason, I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to wait another year to get the laptop. Well, then the next year passed and I was like, do I really need a new laptop? The one I have now does the job perfectly fine. It wasn't as aesthetic looking, but it got the job done. And I was like, let me just hold on to this money for the laptop, because I was like, if I can wait till later on in college to buy a new laptop, then it can last me well into my adult years, and I'm not gonna have to spend my own personal money from my paycheck on this new piece of technology when I have a perfectly good piece of technology I can use now. Well, fast forward, and I just never bought a new laptop, and I really should have, because my old laptop, you guys, could not handle Zoom. So when COVID hit and I was on Zoom all the time, my laptop couldn't handle running the audio and the video. So I would call in on my phone on the Zoom line and then only just run like the camera part on my laptop. And I kind of thought that was normal that it was getting glitchy, because I had like a million tabs up and I was also running Zoom. But then I would ask other people and they're like, no, my laptop's fine. But I'm going to blame the fact that I grew up with dial-up on the fact that I have an incredible amount of patience for bad technology. So I really should have just bought a new one then, but I didn't, and here we are. But I finally bit the bullet, because my old laptop, every time I go to open it, I'm like, are you going to work today? Or are you even going to turn on? And it's so slow. And I was like, this is literally ridiculous. It's so hard for me to be efficient when using it. And I'm like, you literally have the money set aside. So I finally did it. I got the Microsoft Surface laptop. So I got the Microsoft Surface Laptop 5. I am very pleased. It's very sleek. I didn't want a MacBook. I debated it, but I knew I wanted something that ran on Windows. And so I wanted still like the very sleek look. And that's what kind of led me to this laptop. And yeah, I've only been using it for like 2 days so far, but I'm very pleased. Now, you guys probably did not need that whole story about my laptop, but that's how we got to where we are today. So now I am going to jump in and start talking about the other categories in my budget. So here are my categories where I spent what I expected this month. My rent, same every month. Car insurance, that's the same. My subscriptions, the only subscriptions I have are gym, Hulu, and Netflix. Yeah, those are the only 3 I have, so I don't really spend that much on subscriptions. And then I did take one riding lesson this month. I've been getting back into lessons, but I was gone for the later half of the month for Thanksgiving, and then 1 week got rained out, which is why I only ended up taking one lesson. Categories where I underspent this month and got to send money to a sinking fund is on my car. I didn't have any crazy expense this month and didn't spend too much on gas, so I put some to my sinking fund for maintenance, because I am going to need my oil changed and my tires rotated here soon. My health tab as well, I just sent money to a sinking fund. I just always kind of keep like a cushion for health expenses, so if I need to pay something out of pocket when I go to the doctor, or if something comes up. I also underspent in the grocery category, but I'll tell you what I did with that money in a minute, okay? In the travel category, I spent money this month. I finally bit the bullet and got TSA PreCheck, you all. Why didn't I do this sooner? If you travel even like a decent amount, I would highly suggest getting TSA PreCheck. It's $85 for 5 years. It was very easy to get, and it's nice because, right, you don't have to worry about the wait in the airport. I'm pretty good about getting to the airport early, but it's nice to have that cushion, and it would be nice to just get through security and get to like sit at the gate instead of have to stand in that line forever. And also, when you go through security, you don't have to take your shoes off. And honestly, that alone is a nice enough perk for me to pay for it. It's been great so far, so I'm glad I spent the money on that. I was hoping my job would pay for it because I do travel like a decent amount for work, but they didn't. But it was money well spent. And then I did spend money on an Uber to the airport. I flew home for Thanksgiving. I paid for my ticket the month before, so I didn't have to spend the ticket this month, but I did pay for my Uber to the airport. But I had a good chunk of money left over from my travel fund, so I did send that to my travel sinking fund, which would be really nice to, start saving up for another big trip. And then in the fun category, I underspent as well. I hung out with my friends like a good bit towards the beginning of the month, but we didn't really spend a lot of money when we hung out. I honestly don't even remember what we did, but we clearly didn't spend a lot of money, so that was nice. I got to save some in that category as well. Now, the two categories where I overspent. So first category was donations and gifts. Gifts this month, I started buying some of my Christmas presents. So I went over budget, but I was prepared for it because I knew Christmas is coming up and I've been saving money towards like a Christmas sinking fund. So I was pretty prepared for that and just pulled money from my sinking fund in order to like cover the difference. But the category where I did spend a lot of money this month was in shopping. So what did I buy this month? So usually in the month I do like a Target run, and then I get some miscellaneous things I need off of Amazon, and usually that's on like the $100 to $150 range. So I had that happen in November, and usually that's really like the only thing I spend on shopping in a month. Maybe I'll get something little here or there, but I don't buy anything crazy. But this was just kind of a big spending month. But what really got me in the shopping category this month was Black Friday. Now, most of what I bought on Black Friday were things that I was going to purchase anyways, with the exception of like one or two things, but all that just kind of added up. I bought my planner for next year. I buy planners from Dream Daily. I actually just bought my third pink planner. I've just been loving the color pink and I'm not ready to give it up. It's a small business. It's like my favorite small business actually. And I'm just religious about my planners and I love the pink color. It just makes it so fun. So if you need a new planner, I'm going to link them below. You guys should check them out. I also bought some really fun nail art. I'm going to show that over on TikTok, so go look there if you want to see it. What else did I get? Oh, I got 2 dresses from Lulu's. I did not intend on getting those, but I found them. I've been wanting some good midi dresses and they were just super cute, so I bought those. Anyways, all that just added up, so I did go a bit over budget in my shopping category. So what I did to cover that overspend is I pulled from 2 other categories. So I underspent in groceries this month because I was home for the second half of the month, and then because I underspent in the fun category, I just pulled some money from both of those categories that I would have sent to a sinking fund, and I used that to like cover the difference in my shopping tab. But yeah, that was pretty much my month. And at the end of the month, I always make sure to pay off my credit cards in full and then go ahead and pay my rent for the next month. And then I move all my money to my sinking funds. And then after that, I'm pretty much done with my budget for the month. Thank you guys if you made it to the end of this video. And I will be doing this recap for December at the beginning of January as well. I know this is going to be a big month for gifts, obviously. Thank you guys if you made it to this point in the video. I will see you all next month. Bye!